Welcome back to Tajiri's Ball Reviews. I'm Josh. Today we're going to be talking about the oil patterns that just got released from the 2025 Open Championships that was held in Baton Rouge. Before we get started, if you guys are new to this channel, welcome and hope you enjoyed this type of content. We'll be going through the oil patterns today, the team event, and the doubles and singles, and kind of breaking it down, giving you my feedback, what I saw versus what actually was out there, things like that. And if you like this type of content, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and turn those notification bells on and turn that notification bell on so you don't miss any future videos. So let's get to it. I'm gonna pull up the patterns here. I didn't really look at it yet. I just saw like a glimpse earlier, but I'm going to actually take a look at them now for the very first time. On the USBC website, you go to Open Championships, and then you can find OC oil conditions on the left-hand side here. Click on that. Then you have the 2025 team event pattern and the 2025 double and singles pattern. So let's take a look at the 2025 team event pattern first. It's 39 feet, 2.07 to 1, so it's pretty flat. Drop brush is dropping at 38 feet, and it's 28.4 mils. So this team event pattern, it's pretty flat. If you look at all the 2-2s here, 6 loads on the front, 1 load on the back, so there's 7 loads of 2-2s. That kind of indicates anything upwards of maybe like above 4 loads of 2-2s, it'll normally play pretty decently hard. Anything, if you have anything with like 3-3 or 4-4, that also will add on the difficulty. When you see that big out of bounds, especially when you're bowling on a brand new lane panels with weird topography issues, a lot of 2-2s. That's why Nationals played the way they did, especially for team event. For us, we used urethane at the start to help calm it down. In a couple shots of shadow, we tried to throw some balls right of 5, and it just 60 feet just didn't even hook. I believe that had to do with a combination of the 2-2s along with the topography, and the ball just never wanted to slow down. So we kind of just zoned in, we brought our breakpoints closer to like 7, which looking at the graph makes a lot more sense. I used the pitch black, had it at 500, used a Vice 500 grid pad. Use urethane to get the ball started up and control that back end because it was like really jumpy. And if you notice with the drop brush dropping at 38 feet, that means that on the reverse pass, the machine is dropping the drop brush at 38 feet and starting to apply the excess oil that wasn't already used when the machine was going forward. Essentially what that does is it kind of adds a little bit of oil towards the end of the pattern. And what that does is it makes your ball want to be pretty flippy and pretty aggressive on the down lane. If this drop brush number was probably closer to like 32 feet or something like that, I don't think we would have seen much sharpness or quick transition in our reactive balls as we were seeing in team event. Looking at these also, if you are new and you don't really know anything about patterns, when I'm referencing 2-2, that means that it is the 2 board on the left side and the 2 board on the right side. And then if you look at this load number 3 here, this is 9L and 9R, and that means that is the 9 board on the left side of the lane, and the 9R is the 9 board on the right side of the lane. And loads basically just means how much of that 2-2 or 7-7 or 9-9 is applied. So they are applying a 2-2 load 6 times. When the oil is applied onto the lane, from the oil tip moves left to right. And from there, it goes onto a transfer brush, which is connected to the buffer brush. And that's what touches the lane. So as the oil tip is moving back and forth, The oil is dispensed out of that, then it goes onto the transfer brush, then it goes onto the buffer brush, which applies it onto the lane. Imagine this is the two board on the right side. This is the two board on the left side. So it is going to oil two board here and then stop, two boards here. And then when it comes back, if there's another 2-to-2 load, it'll go two boards here, two boards there. Hopefully that makes sense, but it's kind of like a zigzag. Hopefully that helps break down and give you a little bit of analysis on how oil patterns work, how the oil machine applies, all that stuff. But if you guys want to see more detailed about things like that, maybe I'll make a video. Drop a comment down below and maybe I'll make a video on that. Anyways, back to the team event pattern. So it's pretty flat, and you can see here on the forward pass, and what I was told, I don't know if this is correct or not, but this is kind of what I believe. Whatever is on the forward pass going forward, that essentially is the shape of the pattern. And so we got lots of 2-to-2s, like a small amount of 7-to-7 and 9-to-9. So that tells me that there's a little bit of oil right on the track, 7-to-9, but there's nothing inside of that, which means there's not going to be much hold. So it makes sense on how the pattern played, why we're kind of forced to play around 6, 7, 8, but, you know, use balls that really slowed that transition period down, and you just needed to control that back end and not get the ball too far to the right. Or that's just what we saw. Then we go into the reverse pass. We've got 11-11, 10-10, 9-9. These are all one loads. It's basically just Christmas tree inside of there. And on the reverse pass, that's basically, you know, extra oil applied when the machine is coming back towards the foul line. That's where where you can add kind of longevity to the pattern in those particular places. There was not much reverse oil. There was only 12 mils. There was a lot more on the forward pass. But yeah, that's basically the team pattern. In a nutshell, simple version. Couldn't play past 5, which is kind of what I figured. Not much hold inside, kind of what I figured. And yeah, I just needed a ball to control that shape down lane. But 39 feet, I thought it was 38 feet, so I was pretty close with that. That makes sense. But this is what's interesting. The glide and glide. I've never heard of that. I don't know what conditioner that is. So, Kegel, if you're watching, let me know what glide is. I've never heard of it. Anyways, on to the doubles and singles pattern where everyone was shooting really good scores with. So let's take a look at that. 43 feet and whoa! They had a speed bump. I would have never guessed. Wow. Interesting. See, I thought this pattern was like, to me, this is how it felt. Without looking at the graph in depth, it felt like there was just, everything was just kind of like cliffed off 8. There was like a nice shelf there, and you could just kind of either just feed it straight up 8 or get a little bit into it and get it out to like 6, 7. And you had like Mr. Min and like 1 or 2 boards to the right. But wow, there was a speed bump. Huh. Interesting. For those of you who don't know what the term speed bump is, it's this load number 7 right here, where at the very end of the forward pass, you can see there is one load of 2-to-2 being applied down lane. Very interesting. 43 feet, 2.18 to 1. This pattern felt like 3.9 to 1 or higher. That's what it felt like. Drop brush at 34 feet. That makes sense. That's why you could see the balls. You could see the ball transition a little bit sooner. It wasn't as quick or hockey stick like you saw in team event. And the distance helps as well. Keeps you a little bit more right and a little bit straighter. And 30 mils. So that's why it held up pretty good. But here's where the interesting part is. There was a lot more forward than there is on the reverse. which created a lot of transition, from my understanding. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but just from my experience and what I've seen making patterns and bowling on them, when you have a lot more oil on the forward pass than the reverse pass, the oil just tends to move around a little bit more and carry down a lot quicker. We also saw that bowling doubles and singles this year. So we got a total of only 5 loads of 2 to 2, because you got to add the speed bump over here. But that is less than team event. And you see most of the concentration of oil is basically on 6, 7, 8, 9. 6, 7, 8 mostly. Yeah, mostly on 6, 7, 8. There's a little bit on 9. But that makes sense. I mean, I see a lot of scores that came out of the Bowler's Journal, and that was on a pretty high friction surface, older lane panel. So it makes sense. I mean, that's basically all on the track area, and when you put oil there, it allows everyone to be a little bit more right, a little bit straighter, and it played really nice. But I just didn't think there was going to be a speed bump. That's crazy. And yeah, they basically applied oil boards 9, 7, 5 on the reverse, just to add a little bit more hold to the pattern in those particular spots. Interesting. Let me know what you guys think down below. Did you think that they were going to have a speed bump in doubles singles? Because I definitely didn't think that they were going to have one. That's crazy. Well, anyways, we should be getting our videos soon for all of the bowling during team event and doubles and singles. So be sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for that. If you like this video or you want to see any type of videos like this, just let me know. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what type of content you want to see, and I'll make them for you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.